Hey everybody, Rodamon here. Thanks for tuning in to the Philosopher King, a RimWorld royalty series about being a benevolent ruler in a benevolent society with these rules and goals in mind, and the projects that you vote on that I'm just about done with. Recap of last episode, it was another peaceful progress episode with some boomlopes thrown in there for good measure. I was offered a quest to protect some royals, which seems like a very benevolent thing to do, and protect them from mech clusters rather than other humans. Overwhelmingly, you all said that I should probably accept it, so I have. So these royals, although few, are, of course, stricken with blood rot. So let's take a quick look at them. One has Siling 3, and the other two not. They don't hold royal titles, I don't believe. So they're not going to ask too much of me. I'm going to make sure that the one Strachius, or whatever, Stachys, is a knight. Oh no, the others are freeholders. But freeholders, they don't require any special favor or anything like that. But our knight here, our knight will be put up in the royal bedroom. And then the other ones will be given their own bedrooms. Because I do have this space to accommodate for them, I guess. Leaving the rehabilitation facility empty. So what will happen here is I will get a double or triple size stack of Mecha Clusters. You could probably assume that a cluster of that size is going to be met with severe force, meaning I'm likely to launch some of these bad boys at the cluster. It depends on the makeup, location, and design of the cluster, but I suppose we'll see. Alright, so these guys are going to need some priorities here. As you can see, I am sending them to bed rest, and the first thing I want to do is some tending. I'm going to make sure that they are going to get royal meals so that they stay happy. Whoa, Stachys, I don't know where you're going, but stop. Because, of course, if I keep their moods high enough, they will... I will gain favor, which, you know, is something I'd like to do. Then on top of that, I want to remove them from all other work other than maybe crafting. Because they're temporary and I don't want them cranking out anything important or whatever. So, some simple hauling. Another thing that I wanted to do is, now that I have, well, okay, so it's not certain that I will succeed in my task that I just undertook, but let's say I do. Let's say it goes well. I'm not going to need the gold that was offered up, or that I was mining for over here, so I'm going to move my drill back and start drilling for other resources that I need, because gold will not be a bottleneck that I have. Let's go ahead and zoom out and harvest as much heal root. I could cure the blood rot outright with Glitterworld medicine. I could cure 2 blood rotters because it's 10 Glitterworld and I have 25. Instead, I think what I'm going to do is just treat it, because it's pretty expensive to cure it. But in treating it, I'm just going to make sure that I've harvested tons of heal root out in the wild. Alright, so Talon is making some very exquisite statues for us. That's phenomenal. I think what I could probably do is put a little shelf here for Jade. Throw that together real quick. Guest unhappy. Okay. Let's check their needs. You're hungry, you're sick. Okay, well, as soon as you eat, you should be fine. Extremely impressive dining room. Yeah, you'll be fine. And visitors coming in from Rego the Lake. Now, another thing I might be able to do in order to make some money is crank out some additional royal robes for sale. That wouldn't hurt. Talon's working on art, and Zero will work on robes. I will get jade stockpiled here in this shelf. Seems we have a fair amount of vegetables and the like. Now, having some more royal meal eaters will deplete my food stocks a little bit more than they would before. What weapons do you guys have? So you have a linked monosword. You have also linked monosword, and then you have no weapon. No weapon at all. Okay, so this guy I'm going to give a excellent sniper rifle. I have to be careful with Grigos. Grigos is a slowpoke, so Grigos does not move very fast. Meaning that kiting enemies really not in Grigos' skill set. Although you are also a monosword. Okay, well, I'll try to keep them as safe as I can. So I did have some tips that I wanted to go over. They're kind of null or moot now, but the tips was to create a little box around my drilling outpost that when I drill out there, so it wouldn't become targeted by raiders. But now that I've moved back to mining steel, that's kind of a moot point. All right. So my heal root quantity should be going up. I did set up a giant harvest all around for heal root. And while I'm safeguarding royals, I have them for about 3 more weeks. Let's check their traits. So nimble and tough. So Stachys is a pretty decent brawler, especially with the armor that he has. Unfortunately, he's got some brain damage. But stone skin glands, so he's not very handsome. But, you know, whatever. Then Grigos, slowpoke industrious. Okay. And then Barden is Bardanes. I don't know. Bardanes. Let's call him Bardanes. Super immune ascetic. Alright, so Bardanes, if you are ascetic, I think I am going to set up a special bedroom for you in the crematorium. Another thing I didn't do is, well, no. The problem with that is just because he's ascetic doesn't mean he wants to be around corpses. Where would a ugly room be? I really don't have... I could put him in the kitchen, but he'd be in the cold. I don't have a great ugly bedroom. So you're sleeping in here? Alright, so Bardanes, I'm going to reassign you to this bedroom here. But what I'm going to do is... I'm going to set some stone blocks up in the bedroom just to make it uglier, make it, you know, less pretty. And then Bardanes, I think I'm going to risk feeding you royal meals to improve your mood, even though yeah, okay. So now Ascetic has a dull bedroom. Has an awful bedroom. I think awful is pretty much as high as it gets. Having an ugly bedroom makes Ascetic happier, so that's all well and good. Okay, so we got some plasteel here. This is my third plasteel node. And that's pretty comfortably close to my power lines, which is very convenient. Oh, no, I was wrong. The animal grass does exceed outside of the initial square. Maybe it just keeps growing. I really haven't tried. Normally I would do a link or something like that. Now, none of these guys are probably eligible to link up. I would consider it if they were, but they're all going to be... Oh, minimal? Okay, no. They're all going to not be tribal backgrounds because they're royals, so... Wow, more plasteel. All right, all right. I don't think I'm going to have a shortage of plasteel to mine for defenses or whatever. All right, Chris, I think that's probably enough. So the royal robes have been created. We're going to go back to making sure we have enough shells. When we make sculptures, just drop it on the floor. And our treating of the blood rot is keeping up with our consumption of heal root, our wild harvesting of heal root. And I'll just keep zooming out to 30,000 feet or so, maybe not literally, but, and make sure that I queue up heal root harvests. So next time I have an exotic goods trader, I will have some additional stuff to sell them. Some robes, some statues. I'm not too worried about the money, to be honest. It's not that big of a deal to have a giant stockpile of cash on hand. It actually, in some ways, hurts me because it increases my colony value and makes the raids against me stronger. So there was a lot of comments about when am I going to open this Ancient Danger? And here's my thoughts. One is that normally my Ancient Dangers are named after patrons of mine, but I feel like giving a patron a character at the 11th hour of a series kind of cheapens the fact that they want to raffle because they're only going to be around in the series for a few episodes, which is pretty lame, right? I mean, you know, that's just not exactly how I want to honor my patrons. And then on top of it, let's say I don't even name them after patrons, it would be in some way or another giving whomever is in this Ancient Danger a free ride into space that they didn't necessarily earn. Because, of course, I'm fighting tooth and nail to try to survive, and if they get added now, they're just, you know, it'd be like starting a marathon from the 20-mile marker, you know. And for people that don't speak Imperial units, it'd be like starting a 30-kilometer race at the 28-kilometer marker. I mean, it just is, there's something not right about it. So I do get that comment often, and I guess I should have addressed it. So another thing I could do for these guests is to super recreate them, given that they are becoming moody. That's probably not a bad idea. And then scheduled drugs. I could also increase their... You know, I don't really... I shouldn't get them addicted, of course, but I could have them take drugs more often, or take drugs that aren't normally scheduled at low mood percentages, like smoke leaf, so that they don't complain. So basically, they stay happier. Oh, I already have 2 smoke pop. Huh, go figure. Did not know that. out some additional royal robes now that we have all the shells that we need. And at this point, we are sort of just waiting for the Mecha Cluster to show up. A triple-sized Mecha Cluster that shows up at some point. Maybe sometime in the middle. If that's the case, I have, I don't know, something like 8 to 10 days to expect it. Or maybe right now. I mean, you know, it's really hard to tell. So another thing I could do to these, yeah, I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some pain stoppers. Because Stachys is in pain, which is going to cause a loss of mood. And to keep Stachys happier, I could definitely install a pain stopper. And that way, the pain of the head pain and the torso pain aren't a thing anymore. I think that'd be kind of a benevolent thing to do. If I had more Glitterworld meds, and maybe I can call in a royal caravan. If I had more Glitterworld meds, I would indeed cure them outright. And then them being not sick would benefit me as well. They'd become happier. Alright, so the pain stopper has been completed. Stachys, you are going to get this. Install pain stopper. And I'm going to operate on you with real meds. Now, I wouldn't want to cure one of their blood rot, or two of their blood rots without all three of them. So that's why I haven't started to cure them. Alright, so Stachys will no longer have that in pain modifier. So that's good. Let's go ahead and make even more royal robes. These royal robes are so that I can essentially pay for medical treatment, I guess. Bubbaloo, would you be so... Actually, Talon, you're standing right here. Empire Spirit. Okay, well, I guess Bubbaloo has to talk to them. Yeah, that's right. Alright, bub. Let's go. Flag them down. Whose blood is this? Oh, just a boomlope we carried through or something. Okay. I was wondering who got hurt or injured or whatever. That was kind of concerning briefly. Right, my vegetables are definitely being decimated, so it is a lot of manpower. But manpower that probably I could spare at the moment to harvest berries, wild berries, for meals. Because of course I don't want to run out of royal meals and start to have to feed them simple. That'd be not good. So now Stachys does not have negative mood modifiers. For, you know, in pain at least. But he's woozy from the anesthesia and is wandering around my freezer. Hope you like what you see. So a bunch of the beer is going to be freed up pretty soon, and that's going to help to keep moods leveled as well. That'll be a good one. Oh, there we are. Whole barrels of beer. So I decided to strip up the... I'm going to start closing these doors. To strip up the flooring of the old monument, because there's no telling what kind of floor my next monument will require. It might not require a flagstone floor, or that even I might not take another monument job. That's also a possibility, so I figured do away with it. So, quests. Average mood above 50. I've been at 54. So I've been eking by. I think if I work to make them a mite bit happier, that would be good. So this decent bedroom. One of the issues, of course, with installing statues is characters will come in and disturb sleep. I just had this discussion in my Discord about why I don't add statues to bedrooms. You can add other things. You can make the bedrooms nicer through materials like fine flooring or jade walls or something, but I don't want to just hack a bedroom apart to add jade walls. That seems like a somewhat bad idea. But it would be nice if this bedroom was a little bit nicer for him. I suppose I could do a royal bed, but don't exactly want to expend what little or no gold. Do I have literally no gold right now? Yeah, I think I might have no gold, which means it's not something I'm gonna spend on. All right, so cataphract helmets. I want to get all of my normal crew in cataphract helmets so that I am better protected. So I'm going to queue up a queue for cataphracts and have Zero start working on that. It's been a long time coming, but I've kind of put it off. Takes a lot of work. Colonists need treatment. So you can see we are finally getting some net positive. Oh, ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Some net positive doctoring and heal root quantities. Okay, Aervanath is on a major brick risk. Okay. I'm gonna let that slide for now. Having sky-high expectations is probably part of the problem. When I resow, it looks like I have a bit of a food shortage problem. So I'm going to make sure to resow. Oh, Zero switching helmets. Perfect. I'm gonna make sure I resow rice because it is the quickest way to refill our vegetable food stocks that have dwindled. Alright, Stachys, I will put some meditation cues. Chaos Skip, Pain Block, and Heat Dump are the psycasts that he knows. So I might want to force Yanshui to work in this farm field tomorrow just to get the rice zone. It is the very end of December, or the winter, I should say. Which means it's a good time to start sowing crop. Ooh, that is not going to be good. Psychic Drone High Male. That's really going to be a detriment for keeping my guests happy. So what I think I'm going to do here is cure Blood Rot on 2 of them. The longer I wait to cure the Blood Rot, the more herbal medicine I'm going to use up anyway. but at least I'll get rid of the -5 sick penalties. But this psychic drone is not going to be good for really anyone. Okay, so we have 2 cured blood rot. And they're going to be quite unhappy. Now that they're out, I'm not too worried about them being unhappy. But as soon as they're up, as soon as they're walking, I should make sure to use some drugs to benefit their mood. Alright, Yanshui, you... Okay, you won't even sow right now, because it is out of season. Fine. I thought I saw, or I did see Arenath sowing, but apparently it's too cold now. It was a little warmer yesterday, I guess. Inspired taming with Shay. Shay is not an animal tamer, so this isn't going to be helpful at all. Pukesberry, dementia, and cataracts. Okay, Stachys is holding a concert for everybody. Let's hope that this helps. There's also a risk of a wild decree from Bubbaloo, so I need to make sure that Bubbaloo's mood is about as high as I can get it. A wild decree is one of those that your royal title holder will demand some sort of something. It might be to make a certain amount of clothing or to make a little monument, but it is a mental break that dignified royal title holders can have. That would not be ideal. So the concert has concluded, and Babaloo, I'm gonna try to make you happy. He's like on the verge of a break risk, and here comes the Imperial Trader. So let me just drug up a lot. Alright, I hope that these guys, that Sheet here has some stuff worth trading. I'm going to actually wait around just a second for them to get a little closer, because what's likely to happen is it's going to be dumped off the Muffalo. So here we are. Glitter World meds. I'm going to buy them all. Every single last Glitter World med that I can. As you can see, I have plenty of royal robes to trade to them, allowing me to buy some extra stuff. Let's see. I would like to purchase your advanced components and regular components, and then maybe a little steel to balance the budget, and that will be good. Okay, that's a pretty significantly good trade right there. How has 50? Oh, so I've kept it. It's the previous 2 days, so I just don't want them to have a mental break or a wild decree or something like that during this psychic drone, but I don't think it's going to negatively affect the end result of hosting them the entire time. As you can see, they're pretty happy, right? Alright, so let's go ahead and cure blood rot, and then assign tribal or herbal meds, not tribal meds, to the other 2 that are already cured of their blood rot. And Stachys will lose the sick mood modifier. And it looks like everybody else is grabbing the trade goods. Okay, so none of my guests have blood rot. It was a very, very expensive way to deal with their mood, but it's the benevolent thing to do. We've been seeing a lot of blood rot coming through this colony lately, and it makes sense to try to make our, you know, make the guests happier. So I just called in another trade caravan. And Bubbloo is on an insulting spree. Fortunately, insulting caused a bit of a social fight, which is interesting. Bubbloo is kind. Kind people will never start social fights, but they could be targeted for them. But between two kind people, you'll never have a social fight. Unless it's a mental break of some sort. Why are you... Oh, anesthetics wearing off. Okay. Well, I think the social fight there will give a little catharsis, which will help. Empire Spirit is leaving. And if I complete this Safeguarding Royals quest, I'll get basically all the Glitter World medicine back that I invested, more or less. Which means that I won't be in the hole. Which is a good thing. There is also the problem that I'm foreseeing that I am going to run out of vegetables pretty soon. A unique offer. Nearby settlement, trade request. They want to buy tribalware, and they're willing to give Psychic Reader, Sensitizer, Plasteel, which is a really good reward. Sure, I will accept this. So tribalware of 14 plus tribalware of normal quality. Okay, sure. So tribalware. Normal and non-tattered. Let's make it first out of random leathers that I have. And then we'll expand the search for materials. I don't want to initially start using double strand or thrumbo fur. I mean, that would be a dreadful waste. Yeah, my fears were somewhat confirmed. So what I'm going to do is put everybody but Bubbloo on simple meals, because I don't believe Stachys at night. Fine meals. Okay, so at night he requires fine meals. So I will give Stack fine meals. Everybody else is going to be on simple meals, and then I'm going to queue up make simple meals. I'm just going to drop them on the floor. I don't really care where they go. And then I'm going to make sure that these simple meals are made out of meat that is not insect or human. Oh, we have a cold snap, so that's going to make sourcing our vegetables even more difficult. What I should do is queue up a forced harvest. Okay, none of that is harvestable. I don't really need hay. I have 2k hay. I'm going to force harvest some of this rice. I think it's going to die before anyone gets to it, though. And it wasn't a lot of rice. We do have cargo pods coming down of rice. Oh my goodness. The Storyteller has a little mercy or something. I don't know. It's interesting. That will help supplement what remains of our vegetable supply for royal meals. Now, if we check the average mood, I just dipped below 50%, but I think it will raise back up now that the psychic drone is done. And as you can see with everybody's helmets, we have quickly converted over from double strand toques to cataphract helmets. Yes, in this cold snap, it will make us a little bit extra cold. So I have to keep an eye on that, but definitely a net positive effect. And more cargo pods of more vegetables. Wow, this is ridiculously lucky. Because I'm getting ridiculously lucky, my best guess is I'm about to get hit by a Mecha Cluster from hell. That's usually how I feel. We're maybe 3 days away from the halfway mark for safeguarding royals. And we've got half of the tribalware already. Now, everybody eating simple meals made of meat is also going to cause more animals to be butchered, which means more leathers for us to make more tribalware. So it's going to be a little bit easier to get this tribalware out, I think. I just have to keep allowing a variety of different leathers to be allowed. And if I have to make them out of patch leather, they didn't say they couldn't be patch leather. Patch leather, if you're unfamiliar, is essentially taking other leathers and stitching them together into a patchwork, like a quilt, but with dramatically decreased stats. So if you patch leathered, let's say, thrombo fur and heavy fur, which both have very high, very strong defensive stats, the patch leather will be garbage. It's one of the worst leathers that you can have. It's just, in a pinch, maybe that's all you can do. You know, if you have 10 of one and 13 of another and 12 of, you know, it allows you to, like, at least take the scraps that you have and put them together. But I would not advise patch leathering on purpose that often. So it looks to me like animals are super exodusing out of these tiles, and a considerable number of these animals, I think, oh, they're all... they're all getting massively... massively drunk because... they don't have any valid food, and they're eating, or rather they're drinking my beer that I will have to put away. That was maybe not my brightest idea. So what I'm going to do is store plasteel here instead. Nope, sorry, beer god. So we have a bunch of super drunk animals. What I'm going to do is start just hauling this beer out so that they can't continue to drink all my beer and then pass out drunk on my own, on my lawn, essentially. Wow, you even have raccoons eating boomalope. Yeah, this food shortage did definitely pose a desperate situation for the wild creatures out here. Okay. I think, other than this raccoon, most of the ones that have entered my territory are all set. So we just got this Mecha Cluster. Oh, wow, that is a huge Mecha Cluster. So I'm going to schedule everybody, all the animals to grazing, and then, or all my my characters to safe and my animals to grazing. It's not going to be safe for anybody to go out there. This Mecha Cluster, it actually doesn't look too terrible. Oh boy. Oh god. So I'm going to wait until Averbum leaves before triggering anything. I have a bit of a countdown timer that will allow for me to take my time. There's a lot of proximity activators, and then there's a timer as well. Now, the other thing I might be able to do, although there's really not any wildlife on the map tile anymore, most of it drank my beer and died. What I was going to say is what another thing that you can do to help soften up a Mecha Cluster is to hit a animal pulsar, a psychic animal pulsar, and send a bunch of crazed animals. But if they have auto mortars or anything like that, it's going to be a really temporary fix. Because pretty quickly, those mechs are going to shred the animals and then come after you instead. Alright, so I don't need Spoke Pop. I will buy the other... I will buy the other side trainers instead. I'm going to buy a Soother, Insanity Lance, and I guess that's it. I guess I'll be in the hole considerably, but that's fine. This gave me quite a lot that I wanted to have. The issue here, of course, is here, let me just... I'm going to learn Beckon. And then let's haul on the rest. Talon, you're going to learn these two. Now, there wasn't a big bulk of stuff that I had to haul. I hope these guys don't exit west, because that'd be really, really bad. Alright. The amount of kibble that I'm going to probably go through while everybody is sort of rounded up is going to be a lot. Looks to me like everybody is in cataphract helmets now, which is good. It's a good milestone. Bubbaloo's the only one unrestricted. I am adding statues, or rather Talon is adding statues continually, so I'll be able to reclaim some of the silver that I lost in the trade as these guys stick around. What do I have? Oh, Warg. Oh, let's not have your Warg hunted. That would be really bad. Cold Snap's over, so maybe I'll be able to do some farming. And does that pulsar really belong there? I guess there's no room up there. I'll have to remember it's down there. So now that the cold snap's over, hopefully we'll get some plant sowing in. We've got almost all of the travelware. We have a spare cataphract helmet already. The cataphract helmet queue did chew through our plasteel stockpiles, but we have found 4 plasteel deep drill locations recently, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, well, I'm just about out of time for this episode. Next episode, you can almost assuredly count on me clearing out this Mecha Cluster. And then once my guests are gone, I do believe I will start the Stellark endgame. If you have any tips, tricks, feedback for me, do drop me a line in the comments below. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll catch you all next episode. Adios.